So after defining your main content, as I call it here in the image, you can now continue with the setting, the background, and the general atmosphere. We'll dive into all these key areas in detail in the next lectures. So just an example for the setting here would be a close-up image. We had such close-ups now already in the example prompt we generated. So here it won't change too much probably. Still, we will play around with the setting a lot in the next lectures. So the setting, so the perspective and so on, is an important factor you can define in the image. The background so far was barely visible. Here we could say that the ocean should be in the background. And regarding the atmosphere, lots of things to define here. Here, for example, we could say that the lighting should be cinematic. So it should have more this movie kind look, so to say. All these areas are referred to as the so-called details. So whenever you write a prompt, you can follow this logic to first define the main content in your prompt, and then you add all the details that define the additional parts, the additional characteristics of your image. Coming back to our example now, this would mean that I simply copy my initial prompt here, add it again. And now, as we know, Midjourney doesn't understand commas and so on. For better readability, I typically separate the medium and the subject with a comma from the specific details that I add. So here I'll add a comma now and define explicitly that the image should be a close-up, which we kind of have already here, at least in some of the images, but I only want to have close-ups. And I'll add the ocean in the background. You could also keep this shorter with ocean in the background or ocean in background. As mentioned, I like to add some words for better readability. And we want to have cinematic lighting. So this is a more specific prompt with more details, and this should also have an impact on the way the images are generated now. And although the images are not generated yet, you see, for example, that our setting here with the close-up gives us much better detailed shots of the face of the pirate. If we compare it, for example, to this image here that we had in our more generic prompt, we can already see the ocean in the background. So Midjourney also added this ocean in here. And if we compare the lighting, you see this is a more cinematic look actually. It's a brighter look than the one we had before in the first prompt. And if I now have a look at the full quality images, then I know that this is a subjective thing, but in my opinion, this looks absolutely stunning. For example, this image here could be taken straight off a Pirates of the Caribbean movie or something like that. This looks really amazing. If you look at the eyes, if you look at the sun, the hair, if you look at the reflection here of the sun in his face, all the shadows, and so on, this looks absolutely stunning. And that's also one of the really great features of Midjourney 5.1 now. With relatively simple and small prompts, you get these amazing outputs. So with these 5 key areas, we have actually all the tools at hand to create all kinds of different images. So in the next lectures, we'll dive into all of these areas separately. And I want to show you how easily you can change the look of the image by changing one or multiple of these areas.